All right. Many thanks, Mr. Sridharan, for performing those two asanas for us. Let me go across to Ambassador Prabhu Dayal now. Sir, are you a yoga practitioner by any chance? Can I ask you that question? And also, once again, about soft diplomacy. Do you see it being an effective tool negotiating sometimes tough deals if one has that soft diplomacy power on them?
Well, Maha, one of my regrets is that I have not learned yoga. Of course, as one grows older, one realizes there are more things in life.
It's never too late.
Well, you have the yoga teacher right there. Maybe I should contact him for a few lessons. I will also ask him to give me a few lessons on how to treat your wife as a student. Because for me, my wife is a teacher and I must obey her. I suppose if she tells me to learn yoga, I will start doing it, but I will take your advice too. Now, talking of the entire concept of the International Yoga Day. You know, Prime Minister Modi proposed it during his address at the UN General Assembly in 2014. Now, why did he do so? Yesterday, after meeting Prime Minister Modi, Mr. Elon Musk said that of Prime Minister, he really wants to do the right thing for India. I will go even a step further and say that Prime Minister Modi wants to do the right thing for the world. He always has the good of the world at heart. And it is because of that reason that he proposed the International Day of Yoga, to highlight the importance of yoga for the world. I have heard this slogan today, yoga se hoga. A lot of things become possible because of the right approach. Better health is for one thing, a more peaceful world. The Prime Minister is doing his utmost to make the world a better place. He has also been emphasizing the idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. He has even adopted it as the motto for the G20. Why? Because he wants to make the world realize that our happiness is interdependent on one another, that we are one family, and therefore we should try and do good for one another. So, being this sort of a person, our Prime Minister proposed the idea of an International Day of Yoga, and we all know how this idea has really taken off, and how there are so many millions of people who are yoga practitioners now and who very enthusiastically take part in the celebrations of the International Day of Yoga.
Okay. All right. Ambassador Prabhu Dayal, we'll have to leave it at that, sir. Many thanks to all of you for joining us here on this special discussion on the International Yoga Day event. I'm leaving you here. We are heading into a quick break, but these are the pictures now. People have started gathering, and the event is just about to start in New York sometime from now. People have already taken their positions to start performing the yoga on their respective mats here that were laid out. We'll catch you in a bit, taking a quick break. Stay with us.
Brought to you by
Gadget 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change, and it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
Welcome back. We are here at the UN headquarters in New York, and the stage is all set, or should I say the grass is all set with the mats laid out now. And people already gathered here. In fact, some of the celebrities have already arrived and taken their positions as well to start performing the yoga. The event is going to start any time from now. The Prime Minister is yet to arrive. He will be leading the International Yoga Day events. So it's quite a beautiful setting, and my camera person is just going to pan around and show you. So you'll be able to see the skyscrapers of New York surrounding this entire UN Plaza, UN complex, and the flags of all the missions there right in the center of this spot. They are fluttering. There's a very nice breeze here. It's a sunny day, but breezy as well. All the mats, yellow mats are laid out on the green grass, so visually quite appealing as well. And everybody is all set now with their energy drinks and water bottles to start performing the yoga. Richard Gere arrived a short while back. Let's quickly listen in to what he had to say about the International Day of Yoga and about him being a participant today at this event in New York.
It's the feeling here is so open and embracing. You know, I would hope this feeling intoxicates this entire building, the sense that we are responsible for each other.
So, of course, I didn't introduce Richard Gere, assuming that everybody knows him, an actor and now a practitioner of yoga as well. Ricky Kedge, three-time Grammy Award winner, is also here to perform the yoga at the United Nations headquarters today. Let's quickly listen in to him as well.
Extremely excited to be here at the UN headquarters. The energy is electrifying. There are so many people. I think thousands of people are over here. And we're going to get to do yoga. I'm wearing, don't let this jacket fool you. I'm going to be taking out the jacket and I'm wearing my yoga clothes and I'm going to be doing some yoga. I'm going to be following Prime Minister Modi this time. I've been to a couple of yoga events in the past at the UN because the World Yoga Day has been celebrated over here since 2014 when Prime Minister Modi made it happen. And, and it's always been good, but this time it's going to be really huge and amazing.
Well, it's...
All right, we're now being joined by Leonard Ferron Bozalo. He's an international yoga teacher. Many thanks for joining us here on NDTV. First of all, how did you start performing yoga yourself?
Namaste. So I started my journey in yoga in India, actually. I went to study. So I practiced here in Portugal, mainly because I had asthma, a condition, and I've tried everything, all doctors, all therapies, and nothing worked. So I tried yoga. And actually, I saw such a huge difference that I decided that I wanted to follow this path and learn more about it, about this incredible science. And so I went to India and I studied in a Yoga Vidya Gurukul, an ashram. And I fall in love with the path of yoga. It was my journey and my mission. And so it started like this 10 years ago.
All right, so Yoga Day celebrations there at the UN headquarters, and Maha bringing us a glimpse of all the preparations ahead of Yoga Day. And we're in conversation with Leonard Ferron Bozalo. Thank you so much for speaking to us. You're talking about how you got into yoga. Now, before this, we had two other yoga practitioners who we asked, what is that one asana that you really like, that one asana that you make sure you do every day?
So, I think Padmasana, because what I give priority to is my meditation practice.
All right, well, Padmasana, I always found it the most difficult to do. It requires a lot of flexibility there, but also the significance of India and yoga in the last 9 years. Yoga Day has been celebrated after the Indian Prime Minister put that request to the UN. What will your comments be on this? Because India is where yoga began, and now it's all across the world, and we're very proud of this association.
Yes, we cannot dissociate yoga from India because it's its mother, it's the birth place. So in my opinion, it's very important to understand that yoga is part of India with all its knowledge and traditions and energy and wisdom. So for me, it's very important to pass to my students all that comes from India through yoga. And also, it's very beautiful how...
All right, that's Leno speaking with us on yoga, on performing yoga, how she took to yoga, and what changes she believes yoga has made to her life. We'll go back to our guests, but I'll quickly get you a glimpse of what's happening here. So apart from the fact that the stage is set here for the International Yoga Day celebrations, there's a sizable number of media personnel as well. You can see the kind of interest that this event has generated. It's not just the Indian media here, international media as well covering this event. And the list of celebrities joining in the event today is also quite long. And many of them have already arrived, also taken their positions there. In fact, the event is just about to start. People are
just waiting for Prime Minister Modi to come, and then he will be leading the Yoga Day event here at the UN headquarters. Now in 24...
At the UN headquarters. Now in 20... It was proposed that yoga should be adopted as a proper day of celebration by the United Nations. Then India started its bid to cobble up support for getting this adopted as an International Yoga Day. And surprisingly, and in the current circumstances, one would perhaps want to mention this, is that at that time, China was one of the first countries to in fact be the co-sponsor for this resolution, and that's how so much of support could be garnered for getting this passed. And as Ambassador Mukherjee also mentioned earlier, that the group of Islamic nations as a chunk supported this as well, barring Saudi Arabia and Pakistan was an outlier there. Saudi Arabia also came on board later on. So with a large chunk of support, it was easy for India finally, within 45 days, they kind of managed that support which was required to be able to get this adopted as International Yoga Day. Since 2015, the 21st of June is celebrated as International Day of Yoga. And 21st of June is, as you know, summer solstice. It's the longest day in the Northern Hemisphere, and it has its significance in various cultures. So there is a significance to the day as well. The announcements have started. You can see some movements there. In fact, you can just spot some people there coming in with a pram as well, getting their babies along, their kids along for the event as well. You know, initial announcements with regards to the event have already started here, but for the moment we are still waiting for the Prime Minister to arrive, and after which the yoga event will officially get underway here in New York. Once the event is over, the Prime Minister will then be moving to Washington DC. We'll take a very quick break. We'll be back with a lot more. Stay with us.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love.
You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360,
Welcome back. The yoga event is about to start. In about 20 minutes from now is when everybody will start performing the yoga here. So in about 10 to 15 minutes is when we should be
people settling in now on their yoga mats. The flags of the various missions fluttering there in the
early morning New York breeze. Skyscrapers dotting this entire UN plaza, and the setting certainly is quite wonderful this morning. To start, and we'll.
Gets us quite a surprise. Several celebrities are here who are going to be performing the yoga as well. But just a short while back, I spoke with former U.S. diplomat Donald Trump, who's here himself, one of the invitees to perform the yoga today. And let's quickly listen into what he believes the International Day of Yoga has done and why soft diplomacy is an important tool in diplomacy.
I have with me former U.S. diplomat Donald Trump here, who's going to be performing yoga this morning at the International Yoga Day event here at the UN headquarters. Many thanks for speaking with NDTV. You're up early to be present here for the yoga event.
I'm very excited. Yes, we don't often get to celebrate yoga at the UN, but it's a great occasion. Glad to have the Prime Minister here.
Talking about yoga, and since you've been a former diplomat, the question here is obvious. How important is cultural and soft diplomacy in the ambit of diplomacy itself?
Yoga comes from India, of course, but I saw a film recently where someone said, oh, you practice yoga daily? You must be an American. So it's really caught on in the United States.
Do you think that having a day particularly set out by the UN as International Day of Yoga, does that help propagate this ancient practice?
I think it does, and the the Indian mission here is very effective in that. They were the ones who, I think 9 years ago, established the International Day of Yoga with the support of the General Assembly. So it's an important occasion. It's good to have this here at the United Nations.
So let's talk a little bit about geopolitics as well. As far as International Yoga Day is concerned, I want to connect it with that. When India was seeking support to get it passed through the UNGA, China, I understand, was one of the first countries to come forward and was a co-sponsor, and then that gathered a lot of others. At the current moment, China and India are engaged in a friction in eastern Ladakh. How do you see these dramatic changes that we've seen over the last few years, especially related to China?
Well, I would say also the United States was one of the first co-sponsors in 2014 as well. But yes, I mean, India is unique and is different from the United States in that India has a border with China. We are across the Pacific Ocean, so you have these issues as well, and you also have enormous trade with China, as does the United States. So obviously it's an issue of we need to cooperate and hopefully have fewer conflicts as there are currently at the China-India border.
The US, in fact, on quite a few occasions over the last 3 years since the border friction has been on, has voiced its opinion in favor of India. Is it only because at the current moment China and US are not on the same page?
Well, I would just say, since we're here at the UN, I would say the United States has been, since President Obama's presidency, a supporter of India as an eventual permanent member of the Security Council. And that's obviously a very important decision. Trump reiterated that when he was president, and I imagine we'll have President Biden as well saying the same thing in Washington later this week.
But can it go beyond just words? Because out of the P5 members, 4 are on side of India, but China still is a hurdle in that journey.
China is very much a hurdle, and India will need to work with China and perhaps provide some incentives of some kind to get Chinese support for an eventual role in the Security Council.
How significant would you say are the reforms that India has been pushing for in the United Nations? Because India has said that UN doesn't represent the current realities, and many people across the world agree with that.
Well, and I think the United States would agree as well that the Security Council was created in 1945 by the victors in the war at a time when India was still a colony of the United Kingdom. So things have changed, and everyone acknowledges the Security Council needs to be changed. The UN needs to be reformed. It's a matter of how, because you're opening sort of a Pandora's box with such a difficult and complex undertaking as reform of the United Nations.
Why do you call it Pandora's box? Because reforms are for improving an organization.
Of course, but then this is the one opportunity for the rest of the world to enter the Security Council. So everyone, Africa is looking for 2 permanent seats, which is fair. Brazil, South Africa, Japan, Germany, everyone wants a seat. So it's a very difficult negotiating issue, to be sure.
Sure. In the same context, would you say that the proposal by some suggesting that veto power shouldn't be extended to the other permanent members who might be included as reforms happen, as and when they happen, do you think that would be unfair, and then there should be no veto for any permanent member in that case?
That's a very difficult question. The 5 permanent members of the Security Council would be very loath to give up that power, as you can imagine, but also it would make it extremely difficult for the United Nations to function, or the Security Council to function with numerous veto holders, as we have discovered over the past 75 years.
My final question to you, and that again is with regards to the veto. We have a country, Russia, with veto powers in the P5, and there has been criticism over the manner in which it has invaded Ukraine. Then how do you really argue the fact that wielding a veto power is important for the permanent 5 members?
It is a complicating factor, certainly, and recently the General Assembly passed a resolution saying that anything that is vetoed would eventually come to the General Assembly for discussion. So you have a sense of what is world opinion on this issue of Russia and Ukraine, and it is very clear the world community has spoken. They oppose that invasion. But that has no binding power. The Security Council is the only entity of the United Nations that has that power binding over members of the Charter.
That will be all. Donald Camp, many thanks for speaking with NDTV. All right, so Prime Minister Narendra Modi has in fact arrived at the UN headquarters. My camera person is just showing you some visuals in which you can see towards right at the end India's ambassador to the United Nations there in a white shalwar kameez. I don't know if you'll be able to spot Ruchira Kamboj there. She's already here.
He's already in the premises and just walking his way through inside to this specific spot, the north lawns of the United Nations headquarters. This is what this area is called. He'll be here shortly. Once the people around here saw shots of the Prime Minister on those plasma screens, there was some applause here in a way to welcome the Prime Minister, who will be leading the Yoga Day, International Yoga Day event. In about 5 to 10 minutes from now is when we should be seeing everyone start performing the various asanas. So about 1,000 people here in the north lawns of the United Nations headquarters, but several other simultaneous events are being conducted. And in New York itself, at the Times Square, there is going to be a group of people performing the yoga today. Some of the celebrities who've already joined in, Richard Gere, we just saw him just a short while back walking in, talking about how the International Day, significance of the International Day of Yoga. Now talking about the events here, and I'll just maybe request my camera person to just show us that plasma screen as well, where we can have a glimpse there of the Prime Minister is just about to come to this spot where the International Yoga Day event is going to be held. The officials are all accompanying the Prime Minister. It's quite windy here as well. So there were several mats laid out, and you can see some of the mats now, you know, flying because it's nice, windy. The weather is really good. So an outdoor setting of this nature to perform the yoga on the 21st of June, the longest day, the longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, the summer solstice, certainly is providing the apt setting today. So we can see the Prime Minister now. He has just arrived at the venue. You can see him on the stage, and then in minutes after that, we'll see the yoga performance starting. This will be about, an entire event will be about an hour, after which the Prime Minister will be leaving from here immediately for Washington, D.C., which is where the state visit will be conducted. You can see the pictures there of Prime Minister Modi there. A round of applause there by the people now, all those who are in the north lawns of the United Nations headquarters to perform the yoga. So in a short while we'll be able to, let's dip in and let's listen into the event now. Yoga masters.
Excellencies, distinguished participants, yoga masters, brothers and sisters, all of those watching on web TV and joining us today, namaste. A very warm welcome to everyone. Happy International Day of Yoga 2023. This is the time that we've all been waiting for. The time has come for me to share how much we're deeply honored. We're so privileged to have with us today none other than the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, a distinguished world leader and an ardent yoga practitioner. I'd like to remind everyone that it is Prime Minister Modi ji himself, back in December 2014, who introduced the idea of establishing World Yoga Day to the UN General Assembly. A record number of 175 member states recognized yoga's universal appeal and adopted the landmark resolution proclaiming June 21 as International Yoga Day, the day of the summer solstice here in the north. So every 21 of June is World Yoga Day. This day provides people everywhere across the globe, all of us and everyone watching, an opportunity to reflect upon the countless benefits of practicing yoga. Indeed, an invaluable gift in the world from India's ancient tradition. We thank the Honorable Prime Minister of India for this notable initiative, which is now celebrated worldwide with enthusiasm and vigor. I will now begin the official part of today's event by requesting Ambassador Ruchira Kamboj, India's permanent representative to the United Nations, to the stage to deliver her opening remarks.
Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, Mr. President of the General Assembly, Madam Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Mayor, distinguished ambassadors, distinguished guests, and all my dear friends and colleagues from this wonderful audience. Today's celebration is indeed very, very special. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lead us in doing yoga here at the United Nations lawns. To put matters in perspective, it was under his leadership and under his guidance that 21st June was declared as International Yoga Day. And it is only fitting, therefore, that the inspiration behind the idea is with us today in this scenic, multicultural setting of the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly beautiful to see so many around the world gather in solidarity for yoga. It is not living with the burden of weight or the lightness of oblivion. It is a choice made with balance, an idiosyncratic beauty, timeless throughout the progress of humanity. Yoga has endured. It is truth beyond articulation, wisdom beyond time. I hope all of you will cherish 21st June this year and hold it close to your hearts, today and forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Kamboj, for your remarks. It's my turn now to invite the Honorable President of the UN General Assembly, Mr. Chaba Karoshi, for the stage.
Honorable Prime Minister, Madam Deputy Secretary General, Mr. Mayor, Madam Ambassador, dear friends, Namaste. Yoga is a way of uniting mind and body, and also the environment and us. The most memorable university lectures I attended as a student many years ago were on cultural traditions of ancient Eastern civilizations. They helped me understand that we are part of nature, despite regarding ourselves as aristocratically detached from other creatures. I also learned that the energies in the universe and inside us abide by the same law, a desire to achieve balance. Yoga changes our physical performance. But more importantly, it can spark in us different mental and intellectual performance. With the control that it teaches over ourselves, we learn how to make change and impact. Since that university lecture, I've been an admirer of yoga. I'm very proud of my daughter, who has already reached a high level of practice and is continuing her journey. Thanks to her, I understand better yoga's ethical guide. The guide which includes the principle of non-stealing, non-greed, non-hoarding, and non-violence. In other words, yoga's ethical guide to living is a guide to sustainability, not overusing resources that belong to all of us, not prioritizing short-term gains over planetary boundaries, and working for transformation. Our world needs balance, self-control, and creativity, just as it needs recognition of moral responsibilities and cherishing peace and justice. There are many ways to approach these aims. Yoga is one of the means, for which I have a special respect. I'm happy to be here with all of you today, but let me apologize in advance. I am not a yoga practitioner, and the positions which you will show might look very different from what I end up doing. Still, I'm here with an open heart and open mind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Karoshi, for highlighting the transformative power of yoga and in such a very personal way. At this time, I would now ask that Mayor Eric Adams, the mayor of the city of New York, please take the stage.
To Prime Minister Modi, to President of the General Assembly, to Deputy Secretary General, to Your Excellencies, to the Ambassador, to all of you, do not miss the significance of this moment. New York City is the largest and most important city in America. As I stand before you as the mayor of that city, I share with you in a clear and a universal tone that we are no longer focused solely on the physical body, but the anatomy of our spirit. For far too long, we have separated what our needs are emotionally, spiritually, and physically. We are going to go to the root causes of that which troubles many of us, from how we interact, to the food we eat, to allowing our children to have breathing exercises in the morning as they start their school day, to challenge the mental health issues that's impacting us. But there's a larger challenge for all of us. What we do on the mat in practicing yoga must become what we do on the streets and in our countries. We cannot become universally connected through the yellow mats we lay on, but disconnected as we move through our communities. Use the spirit and emotions of yoga to challenge and fight against war, to fight against gender oppression, to fight against violence, to fight against the lack of clean water, to fight against the food insecurity, to fight against the destruction of our planet. Our connectivity is not only how we're connected to our families and our parents. We have two mothers. One gave birth to us and one sustains us. Yoga keeps us connected to both mothers and connected to each other. This International Yoga Day is an international call for us to stand up for humankind across the globe and all living beings. I'm proud to be here, and I'm proud to symbolically represent this city as stating the International Yoga Day is an international call that we will be a leader here in New York City, as you are a leader in your own environments. Thank you for allowing me to rejoice with you today.
Thank you, Mayor Adams, for spotlighting how yoga is integral to the anatomy of one's spirit. We appreciate that perspective and input. I'd like now to go to the video message of the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who is not available to be with us in person, but is here in spirit. Please let us go to the videotape.
Happy International Day of Yoga. I want to recognize Prime Minister Modi for all he has done to promote understanding of yoga and its many benefits. Yoga unites. It unites body and mind, humanity and nature, and millions of people across the globe for whom it is a source of strength, harmony and peace. In a dangerous and divided world, the benefits of this ancient practice are particularly precious. Yoga offers a haven of calm. It can reduce anxiety and promote mental well-being. It helps us to develop discipline and patience. It connects us to our planet, which so badly needs our protection. And it reveals our common humanity, helping us to understand that despite our differences, we are one. On this International Day of Yoga, let us embrace the spirit of unity and resolve to build a better, more harmonious world for people, planet, and ourselves.
Friends, it is one of the deepest honors and privileges of my life to extend a heartfelt welcome. A heartfelt welcome and an invitation to no one else but the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Modi ji. I ask that on this auspicious occasion that he join us and that he address us with his remarks. Let us give him a very, very warm welcome.
Thank you. Your Excellency, Chaba Koroshi, President of UN General Assembly, Her Excellency Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the Union, His Excellency Eric Adams, Mayor of New York, and my dear friends from all over the world. Namaskar. Friends, on this fine morning, we are gathered here at the United Nations, at the meeting point of entire humanity. In this wonderful city of New York, I know many of you have come here from far away. Most of you have woken up before sunrise and made the effort to come here. I'm delighted to see you all, and I thank you all for coming. Friends, I'm told that almost every nationality is represented here today. And what an amazing cause to bring us all together, yoga. Yoga means to unite. So your coming together is an expression of another form of yoga. I remember about 9 years ago, right here at the UN, I had the honor to propose celebrating the International Day of Yoga on 21st June. It was wonderful to see the entire world come together to support the idea back then. I've just paid respect to the brave UN peacekeepers. In 2015, I had called for a new memorial to be built at the UN in their memory. And last week, the whole world joined hands with India to make this reality soon. As the largest troop contributing nation, we are grateful to all nations for their expression of support to this noble cause. Last year, the entire world came together to support India's proposal to celebrate 2023 as the International Year of Millets. Millets are a superfood. They promote holistic health and are good for environment too. And today, it is wonderful to see the entire world come together again for yoga. Friends, yoga comes from India, and it is a very old tradition. But like all ancient Indian traditions, it is also living and dynamic. Yoga is free from copyright, free from patents, and free from royalty payments. Yoga is adaptable to your age, gender, and fitness level. Yoga is portable. You can do it at home or at work or in transit. Yoga is flexible. You can practice it alone or in a group, learn from a teacher, or be self-taught. Yoga is unifying. It is for everyone, for all ethnicities, for all faiths, and for all cultures. Yoga is truly universal. Friends, when we do yoga, we feel physically fit, mentally calm, and emotionally content. But it is not just about doing exercise on a mat. Yoga is a way of life, a holistic approach to health and well-being, a way to mindfulness in thoughts and actions, a way to live in harmony with self, with others, and with nature. I am delighted that many of you are working on scientifically validating different aspects of yoga. Indeed, this is the way. Friends, I know you are all keen to get started. Well, so am I. I want to thank the United Nations for hosting us here today. I am grateful to the mayor and the city of New York for all their help and support in making this event success. And most of all, want to thank you all once again for being here today. Let us use the power of yoga not only to be healthy, happy, but also to be kind to ourselves and to each others. Let us use the power of yoga to build bridges of friendship, a peaceful world, and a cleaner, greener, and sustainable future. Let us join hands together to realize the goal of one earth, one family, one future. I conclude with a wish. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya. May everyone be happy. May everyone be healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister Modi ji, for conveying such an inspirational message to us, for elaborating more about our theme, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, and stressing how yoga is really a way of life. At this time, I request that our esteemed dignitaries please leave the stage and join us below for the yoga lesson, because we would like to start that soon. You may... Friends, I'm now going to call upon yoga instructor Miss Annalise Richmond so that she can join on the stage. Quickly. We're going to prepare the stage so that we can get it ready for our yoga lesson. I've mentioned before that we'll have 6 energetic youngsters leading us along with Miss Annalise Richmond in this lesson. And we have more in the first row here on the north lawn joining us so that people behind can also follow that way too. I'm requesting that everyone stay on your yoga mat in your spot and to follow our yoga instructor and our yoga practitioners to the best of our ability. It's such a beautiful morning to have this opportunity to engage in yoga. The sun is not so strong, and we have a nice breeze coming through, which makes for a very pleasant morning for us to all share in this collective group. I'm delighted now to hand over the floor to our accomplished yoga instructor, Miss Annalise Richmond, who will now start our yoga session.
Thank you, Denise. A very warm welcome to our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji and dignitaries. It is an honor to have you with us in our midst. We are delighted. Namaste. Let us all enter into the world of yoga together. Can you hear me in the back? Yes. Good. Let's bring our hands together in front of the heart in prayer pose. Keep the shoulders relaxed. And we'll do an invocation together. We'll be chanting Om 3 times together. Let's close the eyes. Let's take a deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And let us chant Om. Deep breath in. Breathe in.
Sangachadvam samvadadvam samvo manamsi janatam deva bhagam yatha purve sanyanana upasate sanyanana upasate Sanyanana upasate.
Let's relax our hands in our lap. And when you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes. We'll start our yoga sadhana, or yoga practice, with some loosening exercises to increase the circulation in the body. So let's stand up. We'll start in samastiti, alert posture. So the feet 2 to 3 inches apart from each other in parallel. Stand with the spine tall. And let's bring our hands onto our waist. We'll do neck exercises first. Be careful in case of any neck injuries or cervical spondylitis here. Let's inhale, stretch the spine. Exhale, bring the chin to the chest as much as you can, all the way to the chest. Inhale, raise the head back up. Exhale, let the chin and head fall back. Face to the sky. Inhale, head to the center. Exhale, chin to the chest. Relax. Inhale, bring the head back to the center. Exhale, let the head go back, stretching the front of the neck. And one more time, inhale to the center. Exhale, chin to the chest. Stretch the back of the neck. Inhale the head to the center. You can smile. And exhale, let the head go back gently. Open the throat and chest. Inhale back to the center. Relax. Good. Keeping the hands on the waist, we'll twist the neck from right to left. Be careful not to jerk the neck. Let's inhale, stand tall. Exhale, turn the chin over the right shoulder. Look all the way over to the right. Feel the stretch in the left side of the neck. Inhale, back to the center. Smile. Exhale, the chin over the left shoulder. Feel the stretch in the right side of the neck. Good. Inhale, back to the center. And exhale, chin over the right shoulder. Look as far as you can with the eyes. Inhale, back to the center. Breathe in. Exhale, chin over the left shoulder. Look to the left. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. And exhale, relax. Good. Now we'll do trunk twisting to warm up the body and spine. Be careful of any spinal injuries in this warm-up. So let's bring the feet 1 foot apart. Feet in parallel in samastiti, alert posture. Back is tall. Inhale, take the arms out in front of you. Hands parallel to each other. Exhale, keep the hips where they are. Turn just the upper body to the right. Left palm towards the right shoulder. Look to the right. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. Palms facing each other. Exhale, twist just the upper body to the left. Palm facing the left shoulder. Good. Inhale, come back. looking forward, palms facing each other. Exhale, twist just the upper body to the right. Look to the right. Left palm to the right shoulder. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. And exhale, twist just the upper body to the left. Right palm towards the left shoulder. Good. Inhale, come back to the center. You can smile. Exhale, relax. Good. Now let's start our yoga asanas, or yoga postures. We'll start with Tadasana, the palm tree posture. If you have any arthritis in the lower extremities, don't raise up onto your ankles in this posture. So for Tadasana, we'll start in Samastiti, feet 2 to 3 inches apart from each other. And inhale, raise the arms up to shoulder height. Exhale, clasp the fingers and push the palms away from you. Good. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale here, lengthen the spine. Inhale, come up onto the toes and breathe here. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, grow taller. And breathe out. Slowly lower down the feet. Unclasp the hands slowly with awareness on the body. Lower the arms down slowly. Good. And relax. And now again, let's bring the feet 2 to 3 inches apart. Samastiti, alert posture. We'll take a back bend. If you have any vertigo or back injuries, be careful with this pose. So Ardha Chakrasana, the half wheel posture. Let's take the hands to the waist. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, slide the fingers back to support the back, elbows in parallel behind the back. Inhale, let the head go back, opening the front of the neck. As you exhale, bend from the lumbar spine, go back carefully and easily as far back as you can. And let's breathe here. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and out. Awareness on the whole body. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Inhale, lift the chest, come back up. Slowly. Good. And exhale, relax. Good. We'll take a forward bend. Pada Hastasana, the hands to the feet posture. So keeping the feet in parallel, 2 to 3 inches apart from each other. Inhale, take the arms up from the front, all the way up. And exhale, bending only from the hip joint. Keep the legs straight. Start to reach forward. Stretch your fingertips forward till your body is like a table parallel to the ground. And now slowly lower the fingertips down. Either bring the hands to the shins or fingertips to the ground, or the palms on the ground if you can. Drop your head towards your knees. Let's take a few deep breaths. Breathe in. And breathe out. Keep the legs straight. Breathe in. As you breathe out, head towards the knees. Breathe in. Breathe out. Go a little further. Breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Inhale, slide the fingertips forward. Stretch the arms forward. Let the back come up with the arms. Breathe in slowly. Come all the way up. Smile. Good. And relax. Excellent. And we'll go to the floor. You can just stretch the legs out in front of you. Put your hands behind your back in a relaxed posture. Let the head go back a little. Vishramasana. This is our relaxation pose. And now let's bring the feet together. Toes pointing up to the sky. Hands beside the hips, spine tall. Tadasana. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Good. Exhale, press the hips into the ground. And now we'll do Bhadrasana, the firm posture. So be careful in this posture in case of sciatica or arthritis. Let's inhale, bring the feet together, soles of the feet together. Exhale, wrap your hands around your feet. Good. Inhale, sit tall. And exhale, pull the heels as close as you can to the perineum. Relax. If you like, you can even close your eyes here. Breathe in. Exhale, let the knees drop towards the ground. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe into the whole body. Breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Gently stretch the legs back out. Put the hands behind your back. Recline back just a little. Again, Vishramasana. Let the head fall back a little. Good. And again, we'll come into Dandasana. The toes pointing up, hands beside the hips. Press down into the ground a little. Lengthen the spine. Breathe in. Exhale. We'll come into Vajrasana, the diamond pose. Be careful of this pose in case of ankle or knee injuries. Let's inhale, bring the right heel towards the right buttocks. Exhale. Inhale, left heel towards the left buttocks. Place the buttocks in the space between the toes and the heels. Hands on the knees. And you can gaze softly downwards or close the eyes. Let's take a few deep breaths. With the awareness on the whole body. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. One more breath. Breathe in and breathe out. And when you feel ready, you can open the eyes. Good. We'll take a back bend. We'll take the half camel posture, Ardha Ustrasana. Let's inhale, come up onto our knees. Ooh, that's a relief, isn't it? Okay, and let's bring our hands onto our lower back. Be careful in this pose in case of vertigo or any spinal injuries. So let's inhale here. Bring the elbows towards each other behind the back. Let the head fall back. And exhale, bend backwards from the upper back, arching backwards. Chest to the sky. Breathe in, breathe out. Let the head fall back easily. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. One more time. Breathe in and out. Inhale, come back up slowly with awareness on the whole body. Good. Exhale, gently relax. Good. Now we'll bend forward. So we'll take Shashakasana, the hare posture. So be careful in case of osteoarthritis of the knees. You can come out of this posture. Yeah? Inhale, open the knees. Exhale, let's put the hands between the legs. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, slide forward gently and slowly, all the way, keeping the arms in parallel with each other. Bring the chin to the ground if you can, and relax the whole body. If the chin doesn't want to touch the ground, bring the forehead to the ground and relax. Breathe into your hips. Breathe in. Breathe out. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more gentle breath in and out. Good. Inhale, come back up slowly with awareness on the whole body. Breathe in. Exhale, close the knees. Good. And we'll take the stretched up frog posture, Uttana Madhukasana. So inhale, let's take the knees to the side. Again, if this is bothering your knees, you can sit in a different position for this. Yeah. Inhale, take the arms up from the front, stretch the spine, smile, and exhale, bend from the elbows only, the palms onto alternate shoulder blades. Right palm on the left shoulder blade, left palm on the right shoulder blade. See if you can keep the chin parallel to the earth. And let's take a few deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe into the chest. Notice the chest is opening. Breathe in. Breathe out. You can smile. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Inhale, Raise the arms up. Good. Exhale. Relax. And you can close the knees. And the moment you've been waiting for, let's slide down onto our mat on our stomach. Come all the way down. Make a pillow with the hands. Turn your head to the right side. Take your feet 2 feet apart or so. Let them splay out to the side. Turn the head. Put it onto the hands. Makarasan, crocodile pose. You're like a crocodile resting in the sun. Let the breath relax. Good. Now bring the legs together. Take the arms out in front of you. You can have them resting on the ground. We'll do Bhujangasan, cobra pose. Be careful of this pose in case of hernia or any abdominal injuries. Inhale, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, elbows close to the body. Exhale here. And inhale, lift the head, chin, chest, upper chest until the navel. And breathe here. Deep breath in. Breathe out. Relax the shoulders. Push them down and back. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more breath in. Come a little higher. And exhale. Slowly lower down. Again, make the pillow with the hands. Turn the head this time to the left side. Legs apart. Makarasan on the other side, crocodile pose, resting in the sun. Let the breath relax. Now gently, let's turn onto our backs. Gently roll to the back. Relax. And we'll do Pavan Muktasan, the wind-freeing posture. So inhale, bring the knees up. Exhale, bring the knees to the chest, towards the chest. Inhale, clasp the fingers together, place them on the shins, wrap the arms around the legs. Exhale, bring the forehead towards the knees until the chin or nose touches the knees. Breathe in and breathe out. Deep breaths. Awareness on the whole body. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more breath. Breathe in. And exhale. Release the head down. Relax the legs. Slide them down onto the ground. Let the legs be 1 to 2 feet apart. Let the toes fall out to the sides. And the arms by your sides. Palms facing up to the sky. Relaxing the arms on the ground. Shavasana or corpse pose. Relax the whole body. Become aware of the natural flow of the breath. And let's take our attention to our toes and feet, ankles, legs, knees, thighs, and hips, our abdomen, stomach, chest, shoulders, right arm and hand Eyes are closed. Left arm and hand. The neck and the throat. The head and face. Eyes. The top of the head. The whole body. The whole body. Slowly and gradually, take a deep breath in and breathe out. Let's turn and rest on our right side for a moment, resting on the right side. Slowly and gently, come all the way back up to a comfortable, easy seated position. You can sit cross-legged if you like, or in lotus or half lotus. Sit with the spine tall. And we'll practice some breathing techniques or pranayama. So with the spine tall, let's bring our hands into Gyan Mudra. A mudra is a hand position that directs the flow of prana or energy in the body. So index finger and thumb are lightly touching, and the backs of the hands resting on the lap. Good. We'll do Kapalabhati breathing. So in Kapalabhati breathing, we'll be forcefully contracting the abdomen, and the air forcefully shoots out of the nose like this. In Kapalabhati breathing, after we contract the abdomen and the air comes out of the nose, the inhalation happens on its own. Okay? We'll take 20 repetitions of Kapalabhati breathing. So let's close the eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And we'll take 20 rounds of Kapalabhati. Let's begin. Relax. With the eyes closed, relax the hands. Notice the energy or prana in the body, all over the body. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Good. And we'll do Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, or alternate nostril breathing. So let's bring the left hand into Jnana Mudra. Index finger and thumb lightly touching, other three fingers extended. Rest the left hand on the knee, left knee. And the right hand, let's take it into Pranayama Mudra. So you'll bring the index and middle finger towards the palm and place the right thumb on the right nostril. Close the nostril. And exhale out of the left nostril. Close the eyes. Good. Inhale through the left nostril. Close it with the ring finger. And exhale out of the right nostril. Good. Inhale through the right. Close the nostril with the thumb. Exhale out of the left. Inhale through the left. Close with the ring finger. Exhale out of the right. Inhale through the right. Close with the thumb. Exhale out of the left.
Inhale through the left nostril. Close with the ring finger. Exhale out of the right. One more. Inhale through the right. Close with the thumb. Exhale out of the left. With the eyes closed, relax the right hand in the lap. If you like, you can bring it into Gyan Mudra. Relax the hands. And notice the balance in the body and the balance between the right and left hemisphere of the brain. And when you feel ready, you can gently and slowly open your eyes. We'll do one more pranayama, Brahmari pranayama. So let's bring, again, the hands into Gyan Mudra, index finger and thumb lightly touching. In Brahmari pranayama, we'll be making the sound of a bee, a humming sound, like this. We'll do this with a special mudra called Shanmukhi mudra. We'll be closing off all of the senses. Yeah? So let's bring the hands towards the face. Shanmukhi mudra, we close the eyes, gently touch the index fingers onto the eyelids, and then the middle fingers onto both sides of the nose without closing the nostrils. The ring finger above the lips, right below the nose, and place the pinky finger right beneath the lips. And we'll be, in a moment, closing the ear flaps with the thumbs. And we're going to be taking deep breaths in and breathing out with the humming sound 3 times. So let's go ahead and close the ear flaps with the thumbs. Take a deep breath in. And breathe out with a humming sound. Deep breath in. Again with the humming sound. One more time. Deep breath in. Breathe out. With the eyes closed, relax the hands in the lap. We'll be practicing dhyan or meditation. You can keep your eyes closed and bring the hands into dhyan mudra, which is into the center of the lap. Bring the right hand into the center of the lap, palms facing up, and the left hand into the center of the lap, and bring the right hand on top of it. Both palms facing up. The palms are stacked. And with the eyes closed, let's take a deep breath in. And breathe out. Relax the shoulders. Take a long, deep breath in. As you breathe out, feel the weight of the body dropped onto the ground where you're sitting. Become aware of the whole body. And become aware of all the sounds around you. Any sounds that you hear, notice them. And let the sounds be there as they are. You are in harmony with the environment as it is. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of any thoughts that are floating through the mind. Do not resist any thoughts. Let them come. Now you are in harmony with the thoughts, with the mind. And become aware of any feelings, pleasant or unpleasant. Accept the feelings as they are. You are peace. You are joy. Breathe in and let go. Again, become aware of your feelings. Become aware of your thoughts. Become aware of your whole body. And let's immerse ourselves in the sounds.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Take a deep breath in and breathe out. A long, deep breath in and breathe out. Become aware of your whole body and where you're seated on the earth. Breathe in and breathe out, and slowly and gently, when you feel ready, you can gradually open your eyes. Good. Namaste.
Om Shanti Shanti Om, everyone. What an uplifting and revitalizing yoga session we've had. And the sun even started to come out even more, shining its rays upon us so gloriously. We're here in this beautiful North Lawn of the United Nations headquarters in New York City, celebrating World Yoga Day 2023. A sincere thank you, Annalise Richmond, and to all our young yoga practitioners who've helped to demonstrate during this yoga session. We have an unforgettable event with them and for the youngsters in the first row leading us as well this morning. One more round of thanks to them as they exit the stage and take their leave.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Have a beautiful day.
Our deepest gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, for gracing us with his presence and in creating this wonderful memory at the iconic United Nations headquarters that we cherish from years to come. Friends, I am going to ask if you can please stay in your seats. Please remain seated while the Honorable Prime Minister of India meets and greets participants. The Honorable Prime Minister will meet and greet participants. May I ask for your cooperation and your understanding.
All right, these images coming to you from the lawns of the United Nations in New York City. The Yoga Day celebrations are slowly coming to an end. Prime Minister Modi has been leading that unique yoga session at the UN headquarters. It is a historic celebration to commemorate 9th International Day of Yoga, which saw participation from top UN envoys and officials from across the world, also prominent individuals.
Excellencies and friends, I have some incredible news to share. A Guinness World Record is created today. Today we have gone for a Guinness World Record now in the books. It's a world record for the most nationalities in a yoga lesson. The most nationalities in a yoga lesson right here at New York UN headquarters. Big congratulations to all of us for being part of this historic event. To share more details and conducting this formal proceeding, I'd like to have the Guinness World Records official adjudicator, Mr. Michael Emprick, to the stage. I'm going to ask people to please remain at your mats. Please allow His Excellency.
Namaskar. Coming to you for several more reactions over there. Prime Minister Modi also getting a chance to reach out and talk to a couple of the yoga practitioners over there. Lots of video, lots of images. It's been a wonderful day when the spirit of yoga has been celebrated in the United States with the message not just for the UN and those collected over there or those assembled over there, but for people across the world. It's a message of peace, a message of unity. We heard the mayor of New York speak as well when he spoke about how looking after one's emotional needs, one's physical needs, one's mental needs was so very important. It's something that he needed to speak about. The Prime Minister spoke about yoga being a unifying experience, a unifying tool for people across the world. And really what India has done over the last several years, led by the Prime Minister, is to internationalize yoga more than it's ever been done. And it has already been an international phenomena, has yoga, but giving it that impetus, which is what we have seen over the last several years, all the way now to the United Nations, where we've had nationalities, people from all over the world setting a world record, is what has just been announced, a Guinness Book of World Record for the maximum number of people of different nationalities being assembled in any one place practicing yoga. That is very, very welcome indeed. And the Prime Minister was in the middle of the entire gathering over there. following the moves by those yoga gurus on that stage. So all of this has been happening in New York. Let's go across to Dr. Deepak Sachdev. He's a medical yoga expert and president of the Medical Yoga Association. Thanks very much for being with us. Your thoughts about this occasion and the fact that the Prime Minister of India has spearheaded this in a way to make this a truly international phenomena.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Our Prime Minister has taken it to the next level altogether, and a lot of people are now connecting with yoga. And yoga is also now seen as an alternative therapy method. So people are not just doing yoga for the sake of fitness or just for improving their flexibility. But now the entire global community is also looking towards yoga as a therapeutic medium also to heal their medical problems. So yes, the effort of the government, the Prime Minister in particular, is going a long way and is definitely helping people not just uplift themselves physically, but also mentally and spiritually.
I think it's also amazing that there's been a world record by the Guinness Book of World Records, a new record for them, 135 nationalities, people of 135 nationalities. Let's just listen in to what's happening now. The previous record, as I understand it, was people from 114 nationalities had assembled in a place before.
Please, I would request everyone to remain at their seats again. I appreciate your kind understanding and cooperation. I'd like to make a few announcements. We will have a photo opportunity now of some of the youngsters. Please, if you may, please stay at your seat, at your yoga mat.
So the Prime Minister reaching out to some of the young yoga practitioners over there, children, speaking to them, discussing the event. It's been quite informal in a sense. None of the protocol attached with the visiting Prime Minister evident on display over there. The only part of it is, people being told stay in your mats until the Prime Minister departs. But Prime Minister Modi is all too happy to be speaking to those children over there. He addressed the gathering earlier on, and then he went into the middle of the gathering of yoga practitioners, sat with them and practiced yoga. That same stage where he initially spoke to people was the stage which was used by the yoga gurus, and he's very relaxed. He's speaking to all of these children over here, reaching out to them, talking who knows about what, perhaps about yoga, but it's a great sight. Joining us now, Vandana Jhingan, Midwest Bureau Chief of TV Asia. Thanks very much, Vandana, for being with us. It is interesting, your thoughts on whatever we've seen so far today. How significant is it in terms of, reaching a larger international audience?
As you did mention, first.
Go ahead, Vandana.
Morning at the United Nations, presented by the head of the country, Bharat, Honorable Narendra Modi, starting with yoga. Yoga means union. I am myself a practicing yogi from last more than 35 years. Mm-hmm. And when there was a call 9+ years ago at the UN, how it.
Vandana, that line with you keeps getting disrupted. We'll try and come back to you in just a few moments from now. More photographs with the Prime Minister. Rajiv Dogra, the Senior Foreign Service Officer retired, joins us now. Mr. Dogra, when you've sort of practiced Indian foreign policy, you've been a diplomat for so many decades, but This is India's soft diplomacy, and at so many levels, that's also been such an important part of India's diplomatic message. For example, we've seen it in the past in a different context through Bollywood. We continue to see that. But this is different, this is new, and it seems to appeal to so many people across the world.
Certainly, Vishnu. You put your finger on the pulse of, and also the essence of the subject. Because in today's age, when you have Ukraine on one side, when you have bombs going on one side, and you have friction between countries on one side, you have this message coming out from virtually the center of the world, because United Nations really is the center for everything that can be positive in humanity or together by humanity. That yoga is exactly the one exercise or form of human living that breathes in positivity and brings out positivity, which is exactly what the world needs. But if I may add, yoga is not a new practice for India and nor a new message for the world. In fact, anyone who reads Bhagavad Gita, the message of Krishna is in 18 forms of yoga. And then, since you talk of the soft diplomacy, Chanakya, in his famous work, calls yoga as a form of soft diplomacy. He's talked of soft diplomacy as a practice of diplomacy, an essential practice of diplomacy. And in that, yoga is one of the factors he mentions. So it's not as if yoga is new to India, but the message and the enormity of the message is certainly novel and certainly accepted, as is witnessed by the Assembly at United Nations today.
I think it's also a message which should be looked around the world. It's perhaps not entirely correct to mix geostrategy with a yoga event, but when one talks about India coming of age as an international power, that happens at various levels. Obviously, our economic strength is something that takes us to a certain level. The fact that we are entirely non-aligned even now is something that has helped our diplomatic cause. But would you also agree, Ambassador Dogra, that we are doing this to an international audience? It's being accepted as an international movement by the Prime Minister of India is something which establishes India as one of the major powers in a way that's not been done before.
It's a power with a difference, Vishnu. Just as it was a power with difference when we became one of the founders of the non-aligned movement. And I'm glad we did what we did at that time. So similarly, the time now requires something which is away from acrimony in the world. So in that sense, yes, India has a message which has been accepted. And as you said very rightly, it's not just because of this that India will become a power, major power. But it is one of the factors that will contribute to India becoming once again a major leader of the South, and also contribute to India being accepted as one of the saner, balanced voices in the higher councils of the world. So in that sense, I think it's a contributory factor.
All right. Thanks very much for being with us. We're going to take a short break. I'd like to invite our guests to stay on. We'll come back to this discussion in the next few minutes.
Brought to you by the World Cup.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love. You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love. You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No sensationalism, no ugly debates, no agenda. We strive to be transparent and unbiased in our reporting so you can get news that you can rely on.
Gadgets 360 is here to help you with all your tech needs.
Gadget 360, Gadget Love.
Gadgets 360, Gadgets Love. You too can get some gadget love with buying guides, expert reviews, and all the latest news on Gadgets 360.
It's undeniable. We're facing the crisis of the generation, climate change. And it's happening. Not in some far-off distant land or some millions of years away. It's happening now. And it affects everything we know and love. Information around climate change can often feel too distant, too jargony, too scary, too anxiety-filled, too technical, or too political. I'm here to change that. The Climate Explainers, part of NDTV's 6-month-long campaign, building a blueprint for climate action. The climate clock is ticking, but we're just in time.
Facts are the foundation of a news story, but it's the views that shape these stories. Because when you hear views from all sides, you get the complete picture.
23 years of the big fight. This show is not just an ordinary debate show, but it is a responsibility in service of our viewers.
NDTV for news you can trust. No
Welcome back. So there's been a Guinness Book of World Records record which has now been set with the maximum number